By her example, we believed that anything was possible. She never saw a door she couldn't open, and the doors she opened made and changed history. My family and I have shared a lifetime of beautiful memories with Dolly, but so have you.
Dolly Parton's family says she spent her life proving what hard work can achieve, and across the Ozarks tonight, people are remembering the music and kindness that she leaves behind. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard visited a small town near Branson, Missouri, and an attraction in Branson where she found those memories are deeply rooted.
We love you, Dolly.
Yeah, we love you, Dolly.
At Uncle Roy's gas station in Eagle Rock, Missouri, just south of Branson, it's been Dolly Parton all day.
I am. Probably tomorrow, too.
Melanie Wells grew up listening to Dolly. Now she says her great-granddaughter is growing up with books Dolly helped put in their local library.
She's just a little girl, but we will read those to her. You know, that will be carried on. She's just going to live on.
Her friend Roberta Slack says Dolly brings back memories of listening with her grandmother.
It hits hard because you never think the icon is ever going to go away. You never think that. And then when it does, it hurts. But again, you start clinging to the positive.
And here in Branson at Dolly Parton Stampede, people are paying tribute in their own way. The message on this sign right behind me from the Stampede is simple. We will always love you, Dolly. Daryl Jones went to the Stampede with a memory few people have.
And I always wanted to see her in person, so I got a chance to meet her once in my lifetime.
Jones works at a local bakery where he says they make cakes for people headed to Dolly's shows. He says he met her back in the 90s.
Well, just say another person like we is, family, I guess.
The Stampede says working with Dolly for almost 4 decades was one of its greatest honors, saying she elevated everything she touched. A memorial now sits here in Branson for people who want to remember her. In Branson, covering news where you live, Taylor Howard, 5 News.
Well, now we hear from the United Way of Fort Smith area about its role in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program, and from a local baker who played a big role in Dolly Parton's 80th birthday. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library started in 1995 with the goal of mailing a book each month to a child from birth to 5 years of age. Locally, that program was administered by the United Way of Fort Smith area.
The impact that program has had on so many children birth to 5 in our area is incredible. So that vision, again, really turned into a reality, and we get to see that impact every single day.
Shay Folderry is executive director at the United Way in Fort Smith. His agency started with DPIL in 2007. It has now expanded to all 6 counties the United Way serves.
I've seen, just since I've been at United Way, we've gone since 2019, about 2,400 kids per month receiving a book. All the way up to now, we're in excess of 7,500 children each and every month receiving a book. We get to see that impact, especially when we look at literacy scores and how kids that are on this program in that birth to 5 range, how they excel for future.
Hannah Ryder is a baker from Huntsville. In January, she baked a birthday cake for Dolly to help celebrate her 80th birthday. Morgan Wrigley featured Hannah in a report back then.
The coat of many colors would be so cool, and I was like, that's, her life. It's kind of how she got started. I just kind of had this vision in my head of a coat that was kind of freestanding and was life-size.
Hannah built that coat of many colors cake made from about 20 different cakes, layered and shaped to look like the real thing. She then got to personally deliver the cake to Dolly Parton in Nashville for her 80th birthday. And if you've been to the Walmart Museum in downtown Bentonville, you've probably seen this memorial on the 2nd floor. It opened up last year, features products Dolly sold with the company, but the main attraction is the outfit she wore during a morning meeting with Walmart. Dolly designed that outfit herself. We just learned that she had passed after a brief battle with cancer. She was 80 years old. It was a big night for election season in Oklahoma. Primary runoffs taking place today. Voters across the state voted on some key races and a few questions. Start with the biggest one, the Republican candidate for governor. Attorney General Gentner Drummond up against the President Trump-backed Mike Mazzei. It was a tight race all night long. The Associated Press has not called the race just yet, but unofficial results have Mazzei getting the victory. 100% of precincts reporting. Mazie was up by a little more than 2,000 votes. We'll likely see some recounts in the coming days, but Mazie will likely move on to face Democrat Cindy Munson in the midterm election. Moving on to the big question in Sequoyah County, where voters there were deciding on a $23.5 million package for Sallisaw Public Schools. There were more votes in favor of the approval tonight, but it needed 60% to be approved, so that proposition fell short. Now, the school district says the millions would have been used to make long-needed improvements to fine arts facilities and the high school's track, also school safety. Meanwhile, voters in Howe, Oklahoma, narrowly approved a school district bond package. Howe Public Schools will now have $685,000 for phase 2 of its high school improvement project. That proposition passed by just 3 votes tonight. Voters across the state weighing in on a new constitutional amendment. State Question 846 asked if voter ID requirements should be in the state constitution. Voters overwhelmingly approved it by a 9% margin. State already requires ID to vote. They have been doing that since 2011. Supporters say this strengthens election security further. Opponents say it hurts the future of mail-in ballots in Oklahoma. In Arkansas, Benton County Democrats have nominated their candidate for the vacant state legislative seat. That's the position left empty after Austin McCollum resigned this month. Party nominated Parker Stolten as their candidate. They say he currently serves on the party's state committee. He'll go up against Republican Kara Armis to fill the seat up until January. Armis's husband Brian will then take the seat. Any independent candidates can still file for the position by Friday. A change that could impact college students coming to Fayetteville from outside Arkansas. University of Arkansas is laying out its 150 forward-reaching higher strategic plan with goals of improving student success, expanding research, and growing the university. But Chancellor Charles Robinson says it'll get harder for out-of-state students to get into the U of A. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer tells us why.
More than half of the University of Arkansas is from the state of Arkansas, but the other half?
I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm from Grapevine, Texas.
I'm from Grapevine, Texas.
Grapevine, Oklahoma City.
Maybe it's the Ozark Mountains.
It's beautiful, and all my friends are going here.
Or a good deal for education.
My tuition here was a lot cheaper than actually going to school in Texas.
Whatever the reason, these students chose to become Razorbacks, even though they're from outside Arkansas. And more students are trying to do the same. Dean of Admissions Suzanne McCrae says in 2019 they received 17,000 applications. Now they're doubling that with almost 36,000 this year.
We've become a destination university, so lots of students are applying, and so that, of course, makes things more selective.
Chancellor Charles Robinson said they're making the choice to be selective to students out of state. The university says it remains committed to its land-grant mission, prioritizing Arkansas students.
But we also want to open the door to talented Arkansans and to make sure that they have the opportunity to go to a great school right here at home.
McCrae says her strongest piece of advice:
apply early. The longer you wait, the harder it will be to get in.
She says the goal is to make sure students who come to the U of A are prepared to graduate and launch their careers.
We want to be more selective, but we don't want to keep any student out who's absolutely dedicated to being a Razorback. So we'll help find you a pathway.
In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
The university says the new admissions approach will apply to students entering in the fall of 2027. Now, the priority application deadline is November 1st, but McCrae says out-of-state students should apply even earlier than that. X&A is moving forward with its new Western Concourse project that'll add 5 new gates to the airport. The airport's board approved a bid for the more than $78 million project today. The new 100,000 plus square feet concourse will include larger holding rooms, more restrooms and concession areas, and designed to handle the region and airport's continued growth.
So what will happen is the existing B gates, those 2 will go away, and then there will be 7 gates from the project, the Western Concourse project. So net 5 additional gates, but the gates are much bigger than the ones that we have in the A concourse, so they accommodate narrow body aircraft.
Construction, by the way, expected to start sometime later this year. We've also learned tonight a former Springdale police officer charged with assault and breaking into his ex-girlfriend's home was also investigated for misusing law enforcement systems. Austin Howard faces criminal charges in 2 separate cases. One involves his ex-girlfriend. Police say he broke into her house through a doggy door and dragged her from under her bed. In the other case, the victim alleges Howard stalked the victim, sent her body cam and dash cam footage, and then used police systems to stalk her. A Springdale police investigation found Howard violated policies and has now recommended him for decertification.